the East, and good evening everybody in the West. My name is NGUYью. I will be the co-host and helping Sayadaw and everybody for the Dhamma talk today. Welcome back to our Visuddhi Magga and Patisambhida Magga and commentary. Lesson number 27, Consciousness Purification, part number 12. Today's lesson will last 2 hours, and the first 90 minutes is for the Dhamma lecture, and the remaining 30 minutes is for the question and answer. We will mute everybody during the lecture. If you have any question regarding today's topic, please send the question to our chat box option to everybody, and we will send the question to the Sayadaw. We would like to invite Sayadaw to start the Dhamma talk today, and we would like to invite to interpreter Frante to start the translation. Sadhu, 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 sadhu.
Now we will pay homage to the Buddha by reciting Namo Tassa 3 times. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa. So today we are going to talk about the summary of Buddha's quality. So here we have many different types of summary, many different types of summarizations. So in the very beginning, we have to introduce very simple analysis. As we have already known how Bodhisattva fulfilled his perfections, the Parami, also you have already known how Bodhisattva practiced before he attained Buddhahood. That is why today we are going to introduce the first part. So the first one is Attained Sampati, practicing for the welfare of oneself. Parahita Sampati, practicing for the welfare of other living beings. So here we have to know very simple things about Attahita and Parahita. So sometimes we have to do for the welfare of ourselves. For example, if we don't know the truth, we cannot help other people. Similarly, in the case of the Bodhisattva, first he has to try to know for himself. He himself must experience all the Dhamma with his direct knowledge. This for his own welfare. As you have known, Bodhisattva fulfill 10 perfections for many eons. Not only that, in the last lives as a Siddhartha Gautama, he had been practicing for 6 years to attain Buddhahood. All these are called Attahita Sampati. The Parahita Sampati, practicing for the welfare of other living beings. Sometimes we know many different things. We are knowledgeable, but if we don't help other people, our knowledge is useless. So Bodhisattva also helped other living beings when he was fulfilling Parami. So the last existence as a Gautama Buddha, after realizing Buddhahood, or after attaining Buddhahood, he also gave many different types of discourses. He also visited many different places, meeting many different people, also giving different lectures to different societies, organizations, or traditions. So this is called Parahita Sampati. So Bodhisattva has been practicing for both. Similarly, the Buddha himself also had been practicing for both Attahita Sampati and for Parahita Sampati. So this is the first part we have to know. Again, for Attahita Sampati can divide into 2. So Pahana Sampata, the attainment by abandonment. And Jnana Sampata, the attainment by knowledge. So here we have to know that abandonment As we have learned in Buddha's quality, you also have known that all the arhats can attain arhatship. Also, they can eradicate the defilements. But it will be different from the Buddha. The Buddha can eradicate the defilements together with his habits and tendency. So you may have known some arhats. They use some abusive words, since he was lay person, he used abusive words most of the time. Then after attaining arhatship, he cannot overcome his bad habits. He still have some bad habits because of long time practice. In the case of the Buddha, he has already eradicated all types of habits and tendency and everything. So that is why it will be different from ordinary arhats or like a chief disciple or great disciple. Okay, the main thing is Pahana Sambhata. Bodhisattva had already abandoned many, many bad things. We can also say all kinds of bad things. Then another one is Jnana Sambhata, the attainment by knowledge. So Bodhisattva has attained all kinds of knowledge. Compared to Buddha disciples or arhats, Buddha is a little bit different from other attainments. For example, Indriya Prapryata Jnana. In Pali, we call that one. Actually, we have explained some times ago, maybe a few weeks ago. Anyway, the main thing is Indriya Prapryata Jnana. That means the Buddha can know the maturity of living beings, how mature they are, controlling faculties. Indriya Prapryata Jnana. So by knowing their controlling faculties and the maturity of controlling faculties, the Buddha can give right instruction to right people. Then the Buddha also can guide them well. They can also attain arhatship easily. Another one is Asaya Nusaya Jnana. Asaya means their tendency or inclination. So in our daily life, we have to recall how our mind inclined to what kind of things. So frequently, where our mind visits, which object our mind take. So if we know, if we have awareness, we can know what kind of inclination do we have every day. But in the case of the Buddha, he could know other people's inclination and tendency. In his daily life, what kind of object he take most of the time. What his mind incline most of the time. The Buddha can know everything. That's why the Buddha can give right instruction strictly. Then the practitioner also can learn well. They can also practice well. Another one is Yamaka Patihariya Jnana, Tomorrow. As you have known that in the 7th Vasa, before he spent the 7th Vasa, the Buddha visited Tavanesa Devarams, displaying Tomorrow psychic powers. So that kind of Tomorrow psychic powers can be displayed by the Buddha. Even arhats cannot do that kind of things. Because the Buddha can enter into different kasina jhana very quickly, very rapidly. He can enter an image, he can determine many different things. That's why only the Buddha can display Tomorrow power. Another one is Karuna Samapatti. For example, the Buddha have special knowledge. He was trying to review the words. He was trying to check who is mature. Today, who I can give Dhamma talk. The Buddha will check the nature of living beings. Then he will deliver discourse to proper people. This also comes from Karuna Samapatti, the attainment of compassions. So by this kind of attainments, the Buddha can also know in which day he can deliver discourse to what kind of people. Then again, we also have like a Sabanyutta Jnana, knowing all kinds of things. Also, Navarana Jnana, that means nobody can block or obstruct the Buddha's knowledge. Nobody can hinder or hide from the Buddha's knowledge. So the Buddha has this kind of special knowledge, different from Arhat. For Arhats, they may have psychic powers, they may have analytical knowledges, they may have Arhat attainments, but they are not very strong as Buddha. That's why Jnana Sambhada, attained by knowledge. The Buddha has many things. Because of knowledge, he obtain many qualities. So again, when we are going to move next one, Parahita Sampatti can divide into two again. The first one is Prayoga. Prayoga means we can also say practice, such as delivering discourse to the listeners. So this kind of case is very common. As we have already known, the Buddha will deliver many discourses to many different listeners. So when the Buddha delivers discourses, the Buddha will not expect any gain or fame. So now, in modern community, we have to consider if somebody gives Dhamma talk for gain or fame. That's really very risky. Different from the Buddha's way. So Dhamma talk is not business. That is it for liberations, for knowledge, or for practice. It must be beneficial for the listeners. So the Buddha delivers many discourses to his disciples and listeners or practitioners according to their temperament, tendency, inclinations. So whenever the Buddha delivers discourses, the Buddha will not expect gain or fame because he has already eradicated all types of defilements. Not only that, we also have asaya. Asaya means the inclination. So that means knowing the inclinations of living beings, the Buddha also can wait for their maturity. I think you may have some question in your minds frequently. When I was going to give Dhamma talk in one of the city, not very far from Molamien, maybe 1 hour drive from Molamien, my driver asked me about Angulimala and Ajatasattu. So his question is very simple. Bande, why did the Buddha not have Ajatasattu? Why did the Buddha have Angulimala? This is the question. So Angulimala is going to kill his mother, but the Buddha interfered. Then he didn't kill. He could attain hardship. Ajatasattu also killed his father. But before killing, the Buddha should have Ajatasattu. Why did the Buddha not have Ajatasattu? This is his question. Then I have to answer very simple things. We have different background, different maturity. When Ajatasattu killed his father, he was a teenager. You can imagine teenager. So he was a teenager. He was arrogant, not that obedient, not that easy to teach him. Then what about Angulimala? It's different. Many people many people know the name Angulimala, but very few people know his name, real name, or personal name. Actually, his name is Ahinsaka. Hinsa means torture, or we go like a cruel. But here, Ahinsaka means non-cruel. We can also understand another way. He's a very kind boy. So he was a kind boy, but because of associations or companions, his mind started changing. his teacher mislead him to kill people. So they had different background. So naturally, Ahinsaka or Angulimala is a soft and calm and quiet people. Because of bad associations, he did many bad things. What about Ajatasattu also? Because of bad association, he did many bad things. But he was not mature enough at the time. Okay, one more thing for example. You may have seen mango fruits on the tree, on the mango tree. In the very beginning, it's a very small fruit. If we pick up the one, if we plug it and keep it, it will shrink and then dry. It cannot be ripened and it cannot be sweet anymore. But after growing up, fully mature, if we pluck and then keep it under the sun, then it can be sweeter. It can be sweetened. It can ripen. It can be ripened. It can be sweet. Similarly, if somebody is not mature enough, then he is not ready to accept the Dhamma. That's why Buddha cannot have that kind of people. So when they are mature enough, the Buddha can have them. That's called asaya. The Buddha will wait until for the maturity of faculties of living beings. This is the thing we have to understand. So the next part. There are only 3 types of qualities in brief again. So we have to understand these 3 again. This is actually very simple. The first one is hetu. Hetu means cause or reason, such as parami. So again, when we talk about hetu, you may have known the Buddha's quality, right? For example, the perfections, Buddha has to fulfill 10 perfections. These are the cause of his quality. Then pala, effort, such as the attainment. So because of practicing, he could attain Buddhahood. That's also called pala. Satupakara, the benefit for living beings. So when we can combine all the qualities of the Buddha, we can understand the 3 types of qualities. So hetu, the cause, such as parami; pala, the effect, such as the attainment; and satupakara, the benefits for living beings. So again, when we are going to introduce all the 9 qualities, according to analysis we have mentioned. So in the first row, it mentioned arahant. The first column, it mentioned arahant. This is the quality you have already know. We had 5 different meanings, such as the one who is free from defilements, or far away from defilements, or the one who can break the spoke of samsara, and so forth. Then that quality is attahita. For example, he can eradicate the defilements, pahana sambada, just for his own practice, right? So somebody is attahita sambati, sambada is a pahana sambada. He eradicates all types of defilements. Then pala is the result of practicing. It's not the cause. So, for example, when we practice morality, we can eradicate very gross defilements, very strong defilements. Sometimes we have defilements, but it is not that gross that we will not make any actions. But sometimes when the defilements become very strong and powerful, we will make some actions. We will make some mistakes. So Now, after eradicating all the defilements, them didn't make any mistakes. This is only the benefit, the phala, the fruitions he have got because of abandonment. Then for about Samma Sambuddha, you have already know Samma Sambuddha means he also understands or realizes the Four Noble Truths by himself. Not only Four Noble Truths, all the things he should know, such as like akara. Akara means the behavior, or vikara, like intimations, and nibbana, panyati, all the things. Whatever thing he should know, he has already known by his own knowledge. This is called Samma Sambuddha. It is also Attained. Right? It's present for himself, present for the welfare of himself. That also is, according to Sampada, is Jnana Sampada. So Jnana Sampada means this is a knowledge, attaining knowledge, attained by knowledge. So when he attained Buddhahood, he had already realized Four Noble Truths. He also had already realized all types of concepts. He also had already known Nibbana, also all the body intimations. Body intimations is a little complicated for you, I think. We can also understand like a body language. The Buddha also can understand the body language. Okay, we can say easier way, right? This is called Jnana Sampada. Then for about phala, this is only the fruits or the effects, the results, or he just gets all these things by practicing. So now 3, Vijja Charana Sampanno. So when we talk about Vijja Charana Sampanno, that one is, Vijja is knowledge, Charana is contact. Two different things. So Vijja Charana Sampanno is here, we just mentioned Attained. Vijja is also knowing Attained. Charana also practicing, you have already known the Charana, right? 15 types of Charana. Also Attained. For about Sampada, it recovered 2 types of Sampada, Jnana Sampada and Bhana Sampada. For example, when we talk about Vijja, they are mentioned inside knowledges. Right? Also, we have like a monomediating jnana. Also, we have abhiññana, or are called Jnana Sampada. The Bhana Sampada, when he attained Buddhahood, there's also relinquishing. When we talk about Charana, also, he will mention about abstaining from wrongdoings, sila, right? Also called Charana. So, okay, in brief, Vijja Charana Sampanno cover both Jnana Sampada and Bhana Sampada. The attainment by abandonment, or the attainment by knowledge, or attaining knowledge. Then this is also only phala, the fruit. This is called Vijja Charana Sampanno. Then we have Sukado. 4, right? Sukado. According to Sampati, is also Attained and Parahita for both. Okay, here I have to elaborate Sukado again. For example, though our speech only right things, beneficial things, occasionally, knowing the time, knowing the proper people to talk with. This is called right reason for the welfare of people. It can be parahita. So the Buddha also has like a samadhi. The Buddha just go to nibbana without coming back. This is only Attained for his own welfare. That's why, according to Sampati, there are 2 types of Sampati, Attained and Parahita. But in the Samvara, it mentioned 2 plus 2. So it will be a little bit difficult for you to understand, right? So first, the first 2 is Pahana Samvara and Jnana Samvara. Pahana means abandonment. The Buddha has already abandoned all the defilements. That's why he can speak truth. Right? He can also go to Nibbana. Jnana Samvara, the Buddha had attained all types of knowledge. That's why he can realize Nibbana. He can go to Nibbana, the right path. This is called Jnana Samvara, Pahana Samvara, the first 2. The second 2 is Payoga Sampati. Because of good speaking, the Buddha can deliver many discourses to many different people. This is called Payoga, practicing, or making actions, or making efforts to help people. Then Asaya, waiting for the time. As we have mentioned, the Buddha waits until people's controlling faculties become mature, such as Angulimala is mature. That's why before killing his mother, the Buddha can help him. Ajatasattu is not mature yet, he cannot help. But when the Buddha can help him, it's too late for him. This is called maturity. So in this case, although non-Buddhist ascetics wish to listen to the Dhamma, the Buddha will deliver discourses. For example, Satchaka, Paribhajaka, wandering ascetics. Although the Buddha delivered very long discourses in Majjhima Nikaya, Chula Satchaka Sutta and Mahasatchaka Sutta, he didn't attain any path and future knowledge. Even he didn't take refuge in the Buddha. He didn't admit that he was defeated by the Buddha. He was so arrogant that he is not ready to accept the Buddha as a teacher. But anyway, the Buddha waits him until his control faculties become very mature. But the Buddha just gives Dhamma talk for him, only for his parami perfections. So after listening Buddha discourses, he has very strong confidence with the Buddha's teaching. But he didn't admit that the Buddha is the truth. So that means Payoga and Asaya. Payoga means practicing or making actions or making efforts to deliver discourses. Asaya means inclinations, that means waiting for the proper time. Come from Sukado. So here Sukado also can be 3. So I think you have already mentioned, or we have already mentioned 3 types of quality in brief, right? Hetu, the cause, such as Parami; Phala, the effect, such as the attainment; Satrupakara, the benefit for living beings. So the last one is for 3. Sukado can cover 3. It also can be the cause, because he tells the truth. Or he helps people by telling the truth. Telling the truth in the proper time, telling beneficial things in the proper time to the proper people. This is called parami, perfections. It also can be the effect. For example, he attained Buddhahood because of telling the truth. A kind of perfections, such as parami. Also, it's helpful for the living beings because the Buddha can deliver many discourses. This is also called Satupakara, benefit for living beings. So Sukado has a little bit wider meanings. It can be Sambati, 2 types of Sambati, Atahita Sambati, Parahita Sambati. Or Sambada, it can be Jnana Sambada, Pahana Sambada. Also, among the Parahita Sambati, it also can be Asaya and Payoga, both. What about Phala, Hetu, causes; Phala, the effect; Satupakara, the benefit of living beings. Loka we do, the next one, right? Loka we do is also knowing the words. Okay, here in this case, Loka we do means knowing the words. They have already mentioned. The Lord also can know people's inclination, tendency, maturity, everything. This is also called loka we do. Although we say loka as the words, but in reality, we ourselves, our body is also called the words. This is called sankhara loka. We can also understand as a satta loka. We are living beings. Every living beings individually are called loka. So the Buddha can know all the living beings and their inclinations, tendency, also temperaments, also their controlling faculties, and so forth. This is also called loka we do. So it's actually attahita for himself. Also jnana sambara, because his own knowledge, he could know many different things. Also it's only pala, right? So this is 5. Okay, now 6, the next page. Anuttara Buddhisa Dhamma Sarati. So here we also say Anuttara means incomparable. Trainer, we can say like that, right? Buddhisa Dhamma Sarati means trainer. He will train people. He will train living beings, including animals, devas, and brahmans. So Anuttara Buddhisa Dhamma Sarati is a parahita. And not for himself, it's just for other living beings. But what about sambada? There are 2 types of sambada, payoga and asaya. But when he was going to teach somebody, then he would give discourse without expecting any gain or fame. Not only that, he will wait until they are mature. If not proper time, they are not mature yet, the Buddha will wait until they are mature. This is also called asaya. Then what about the last group, right? Satupakara. Satupakara is for the benefit of living beings. So the Buddha trains his disciples and living beings for their welfare. It's not for Buddha's welfare. Then again, we have Satta Deva Manusanam, number 7. So teachers of divine beings and human beings. It also similar to Anuttara Buddhisa Dhamma Sarati. Parahita, he become teacher or helper of living beings. When we talk about Satta Deva Manusanam, we also have mentions like going to a risky journey. Then the Buddha will have co-assistant or co-associates like travelers to escape from risky journey. Similarly, the Buddha have his disciples and all the living beings from the risky journey of aging, sickness, and death. That's why it's prahita, for the welfare of other living beings. Then payoga. So yeah, he will become a teacher in the proper time. He will give Dhamma talk at the proper time. That's why in payoga and asaya. Then satupakara is short for the welfare of living beings. Then 8, Buddha. So when we know the Buddha, as you have to know, is knowing the Four Noble Truths. Also, it will let the Buddha will let other living beings know the Four Noble Truths. Firstly, he himself know the Four Noble Truths. Then he will have other living beings to know the Four Noble Truths. This is called Buddha. Buddha has 2 meanings. So if we just translate Buddha as knowing Four Noble Truths, it will only attahita. But in reality, if we say the Buddha who let other living beings to know the Four Noble Truths, this means it can be parahita. Mostly we just know Buddha as awakened one. He can wake up. Or sometimes we just know as Buddha as like the one who knows Four Noble Truths. But what about Sambada? it will be Attahita, for the welfare of himself. Right? Oh, sorry. Buddha gave me Attahita, Parahita both. Right? This is some mistake. Okay, 8 is a mistake, right? So the first Sambati might be Attahita Sambati, Parahita Sambati both, right? This is a mistake. So Sambara also both, true. So in the case of Sambara, we also have Bahana. That means by eradicating defilements, the Buddha can know the truth. And by attainments, the Buddha also can know the truth. Without eradicating, we cannot know the truth. That's why Bahana and Yoga. Sorry, Bahana and Jnana, both Sambara. Then, not only that, we can also say Yoga and Asaya. When the Buddha led other people to know the Four Noble Truths. Also, this was one mistake. It should be 2 + 2 also. Okay, so when the Buddha explained Four Noble Truths for other living beings, it should be Yoga and Asaya, right? He delivered discourses. Asaya means waiting for the time. So again, the last part is Bhagawa. So Bhagawa can be both Attahita and Parahita Sambati. So when we talk about it, I think Buddha in my note is true, but in here mentioned, I think in the translation there's some mistake, right? Attahita. Anyway, so for about Bhagawa also is true. True means it also can be for both Attahita and Parahita, which means it can be for the welfare of other living beings, it also can be for the welfare of himself. This is called 2 types of Sambara. Not only that, also Asaya and Yoga, right? Some or also, for example, like given Dhamma talk, he will be very diligent, for example. He will use all his efforts to help people. In this case, it will be, hello? It's okay. It can be for the welfare of himself, for the welfare of other living beings. Not only that, so when we talk about Bhagawa, now we also have to know one more thing about it. So here we have 2 different things here. I didn't write down all these things. The first one is Anubhava Sambada. Anubhava means like a power. So he has already attained some power. Another one is like a Rupakaya Sambada, like a body's appearance. His appearance is also like the achievement of appearance. That means the Buddha is good looking. Like for example, among the 6 of Bhagawa mentioned, Siddhi. So, but anyway, because of Buddha has different types of power, he can help many different people. This is the one thing. Another thing is because of his appearance, good looking. People also have very strong faith in him. This is one different things, another things. So actually, both of these are very useful for living beings. He can do for the welfare of other living beings easily. Not only that, he can also attain many, many qualities because of this power. Okay, so now these are the quality mentioned in, like we can say like this is quality by Myanmar scholar. I have got all these passage from like the taste of qualities by Nyongleven Sayadaw. But anyway, we also can find some of the things from the sub-commentary. But today, these are the summary of 9 qualities. But when we are going to practice 9 qualities, then how can we attain jhana? But in reality, we cannot attain jhana. By practicing Buddha's qualities, we can attain only asset concentrations. So here we have some benefit of, or maybe arising of asset concentration step by step. When we can practice Buddha's quality very clearly, then because of good practice that we may have, that we're going to be obsessed by greed, hatred, delusions, and other hindrances. So that means sometimes we are influenced by or obsessed by hindrances, that we will do many wrong things. For example, greed. We all have greed, but sometimes when we are so greedy that we may make many mistakes. Similarly, hatred. Okay, although here I use hatred, I have to maybe use the Pali word dosa. Sometimes if we use the only English word, people misunderstand. So dosa means it also can be hatred, it also can be anger, it also can be worry, sorry, lamentation, grief, despair, fear. All are called dosa. So if we have this kind of unpleasant feeling in our minds, we can make many mistakes. Similarly, delusions. For example, skepticism or doubts. If we have doubt, we get confused with many different things, like standing on a junction. We cannot decide where to go. So that means when we have very strong practicing about Buddhanussati, and we can be influenced or obsessed by lobha, greed, dosa, hatred, moha, delusions, and other hindrances. So he has gratitude by taking the meditation objects. This is very common, gratitude. Another one is the energy application and sustainment arise. So when we have gratitude, then we have energy application and sustained applications. They become powerful. Now based on that, there will be rapture. Rapture will arise. So we can apply our minds, do the Buddha's quality again and again. We can sustain in Buddha's quality easily. Then there will be rapture, piti. After that, when we have very strong rapture, then tranquility will arise. We call in Bali passaddhi. So our body becomes very calm and quiet, really tranquil. We can feel, then next one is that we can feel the bliss. Then bliss arises. So we can also say in Bali, sukha arrives. So that means we are invaded by rapture and tranquility and bliss. Our body becomes very calm and quiet, very peaceful, very good experience, a lot of pleasant things. Then next one, concentration arises. Then when concentrations become very powerful, jhana fata will arise. So this means, as we have known that in the asset concentrations, we also have very strong jhana fetters. We also have already overcome the hindrances. So at the time, we can have asset concentrations. So as we have mentioned before, by practicing Buddhanussati, we cannot attain jhana because they are ultimate reality. That's why we can attain only asset concentration. Then they are mentioned the benefit of recollections of the Buddha's quality. So here mentions he is respectful to the Buddha. That means we may respect to the Buddha if we do Buddhanussati continuously. Then he gains fullness of faith in the Buddha. So that means if we have very strong faith, then our mind become very soft, flexible. our mind will become very clean and pure. Then our mind become very flexible and pure, then it will be easier for us to practice other subjects, other meditation methods. This is also helpful for the practitioners. So sometimes when our confidence becomes very weak, we should practice Buddhanussati. Sometimes if we don't have any rapture or joy in the practice, we should do Buddhanussati. Then 3, he gains fullness of mindfulness. Of course, this Buddhanussati, right? We have to recall its Buddha's quality. We have to do the same things again and again. Then we can also gain fullness of mindfulness. Then he gains fullness of wisdom. So here, wisdom means by practicing Buddhanussati, then we can also have the knowledge of Buddha's quality. Also very strong wisdoms will arise. We can know the Buddha's quality deeper. Then 5, he gains fullness of merit. Okay, this one. So we are accumulating kusala. That's why all the time, when we have a habit of doing Buddhanussati, then we can have very strong wholesome deeds. It will be helpful for our practice. Actually, I have met one bhikkhu from Mandalay. He came to Paodoya a few years ago. I think about maybe year 2011 or something like that. Then actually within one day, he could see the nimitta. So when he just arrived, yesterday he arrived, for example. Today he came to interview. And when I asked something, he just talked about the lights. This is a little bit surprising, you know. I cannot believe this kind of thing happened to him. Then I asked, how do you see it? I asked many things in detail. How you see, how far, how near. I just asked many things in detail. He could answer everything without hesitation. Then I also suspect why he has this kind of power to see the light within one day. I asked him, do you have any other meditation experience? He said, no, Bhante, I don't have any meditation experience. Then, okay, in your free time, what do you do? He just do Buddhanussati. You may have seen some people counting beads, right? Buddha, 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 counting beads. So here he just count beads. Buddha, Buddha, or maybe Arhan, Arhan, something like that. So he just counts beads whenever he has free time. He has concentration. Then when he came to Pao, it's very easy for him to see the light, to see the nimitta. But unfortunately, he was in the London school. He has to go back for learning. Or rather, he cannot come back to Pao Doya anymore. I haven't met him anymore after that. The main thing is, when we have very strong wholesome deeds, it will be helpful for our practice. Okay, now next one, 6. He has full of gladness and rapture. So I have mentioned before, if we don't have bliss and rapture or happiness, we can do Buddhanussati until we can get peacefulness or gladness or rapture or joy. After that, we can continue practicing like Anapanasati or other subject. This means main subject. So now the next one. He conquers fear and dread. So there are many people, right? Are scared of, or afraid of ghosts, afraid of unseen beings, many types of fears. Sometimes mind-made fear, you know, our mind just fighting us. Mind-made fear. We call in Bali, Chitudara Sabaya. So when we can do Buddhanussati, we can overcome fear and dread. Then 8, he can endure bodily pain. I think this is not that simple and easy for beginners. Okay, here one more thing we have to talk about rapture or joy. So in the meditations, when we have very strong rapture and then joy, we will not feel our body anymore. We're going to feel any pain in our body. That's normal. So actually in the Buddha's teaching, there are many, many arhats. We call Vikanpetawa. That means overcoming pain or pain, because ignoring pain. Which means, for example, there's one arhat. He was so much pain, so he just paid attention to main objects. He has very strong rapture and joy and tranquility. Because of power of rapture, joy and tranquility, he cannot feel pain anymore. That's why he can endure bodily pain. That means when he has very strong rapture, joy and tranquility or bliss, he will not feel his body anymore. Even some meditator has experienced this kind of things, especially when they have very strong joy or tranquility. For example, like a joy, or they may feel like a floating. They don't feel that their body is touching on the ground or on the sitting cloth. This is called rapture. So if they don't feel hello.
Varamisedo, Mesedo repeat Sedo.
So about 9. Okay. Okay. About 9. Okay, number 9. He feels as if he is in the presence of a living Buddha. So that means he may feel like he is a living. His body is like a shrine room when recollecting Buddha's quality. Okay, this is also one of the things important for us. Hello?
Yes.
Okay. So 10.
Sayadaw, dear Sayadaw.
Okay.
Sayadaw, could you repeat number 9 explanation, because the sound was broken off.
Okay.
Thank you, Sayadaw.
So 9, he feels as if he is in the presence of a living Buddha. So that means when we are practicing Buddhanussati successfully, we may feel like we are seeing real Buddha or living Buddha. So that means we are in the presence of real Buddha or living Buddha. This is the power of Buddhanussati. Not only that, okay, we have to go to 10. His body is like a shrine room when recollecting Buddha's quality. This is also important. So that means we have many shrine rooms. Right? We have many Buddha statues, many Buddha's image. But in reality, we must have Buddha in our hearts. That is why when we have very strong practicing of Buddhanussati, our body is like a shrine room, because Buddha always lives in our body, in our hearts, all the time. This is also one of the benefits. So, actually, when we are going to build a pagoda, it will be too costly, right? But if we can do Buddhanussati, we cost nothing. We ourselves become shrine room or pagoda. So again, 11. His mind inclines to be a Buddha. Like he wants to be a Buddha, like a bodhisattva. Then 12. He has awareness of conscience, shame, as if he sees the Buddha when encountering an opportunity for transgressions. So, which means when we are going to make some mistakes, we may have moral shame and moral dread. Because as we see the Buddha, because we are in front of the Buddha, we see the living Buddha. Mostly, if we are together with respected people, we dare not make any mistakes because of respect. So now moral shame and moral dread or moral fear also come from respect, because we respect the Buddha too much. That's why whenever we are going to make mistakes, we may have moral fear or moral shame. Then we will not make any mistakes. That is 12. Then we have a 13. He can be reborn in the good destinations after death. So it depends on the practitioners. There are some practitioners, they will attain jhana with other meditation subjects. They will practice vipassana. When they attain Sodapati, Sakadagami, Anagami, or Arhat, especially when they attain Arhat, they cannot be reborn anymore, right? But if we cannot attain very high attainment, such as Anagami or Arhat, we can be reborn in good destinations after death, especially when we can recollect Buddha's quality in our death moment. So these are the benefits of recollection of Buddha's quality. Then we have to continue the next groove with Saraja. Here we have interability or self-confidence. So the Buddha had self-confidence in the following things. For example, andaraya, obstruction. So such as mighty karma, persistent wrong view, and so on. For example, sometimes the Buddha will say, if you do like this, you will be reborn. But you cannot attain path and fruition knowledge. You can be reborn in the hell. That kind of things. Here, obstructions means, for example, like a mighty karma, we have already explained the one. When we have mighty karma, we cannot attain jhana. When we have persistent wrong view, we cannot attain jhana. When we were born with two roots, we cannot attain jhana. Then, according to present practice, right, there can be some obstructions of attainment. When the Buddha say, if you break precepts, for example, you cannot attain jhana. It's really happened. So that is really truth. That's why Buddha has confidence with his instructions about obstructions. If the Buddha say, karma will obstruct your attainment. Your defilements will obstruct your attainments. Also, your vipaka, the results, will obstruct your attainments. Then, not only that, so if you insult noble people, that kind of mistake will obstruct your attainment. If you break precepts, it will obstruct your attainment. As the Buddha said, it really happened. That's why Buddha has confidence with his Dhamma talk about Antaraya. 2. Niyana, leading out of samsara, such as Noble Eightfold Path. So when the Buddha talks, this one will lead out of samsara. When you can practice like this, you can make an end of suffering. If we really follow the Buddha instructions, then we can be really free from round of samsara. So, as you have known, the Noble Eightfold Path is the way to the path that leads to the cessation of suffering. So, when the Buddha say this path is leading to this leading out of samsara, it really happened. The Buddha has very strong confidence with his instruction. Then 3, Buddhata, the attaining the enlightenment. Buddha has very strong confidence with his attainment. That's why whoever asks the Buddha, are you really Buddha? He may say yes. He has very strong confidence with his attainment. Or he could also teach very well. That's why people also have very strong confidence with his attainment. So, although a deva come and asks the Buddha, are you Buddha? He may say yes. Do you attain Buddhahood? He may say yes. Do you know Four Noble Truths? He may say yes. He has very strong confidence with his practice, his attainment. Although his very high Brahma came and asked him, although very powerful deva came and asked him, although very powerful king came to ask him, he will say the same. He has very strong confidence with his attainment. Then 4, Asavakkhaya Jnana, distraction attained. So, also very strong confidence with distraction attained. So these are, we call Visaraja Jnana. If we say in brief, only 4 types of Visaraja Jnana. Now we also have to continue Avinika Guna, special quality. So we can find this one in the sub-commentary. But anyway, these are also useful to know, because traditionally in Myanmar, most of the Myanmar people know this quality. But it doesn't mean everybody know, right? Many of Myanmar people know this quality because we have some chanting books about Dharana Parita. Dharana Parita also means this Avinika special quality. So, okay, we have to start with very beginning. Atitamse Buddhasa Bhagavato Apatihata Jnana. This is the first part. So, nothing can obstruct the Buddha's knowledge about knowing the past. So when the Buddha wishes to know about the past, then nothing can obstruct. For example, Mara will come and obstruct, but he cannot do. Even Mara cannot do. If Brahma will come and block Buddha's knowledge, impossible. So nothing can obstruct the Buddha's knowledge about knowing the past of living beings. So he may, if he wishes to know somebody's past lives, he could recall easily. He could go in and see easily. Not only that, two. Anagatanse Buddhasa Bhagavato Apatihata Jnana. The same thing, that's why I didn't write down all. So nothing can obstruct the Buddha's knowledge about knowing the future. If the Buddha wishes to know the future of other living beings, he could know as he like. Nobody can obstruct the Buddha's knowledge. Nothing can obstruct the Buddha's knowledge. Similarly, three. Pachupananse Buddhasa Bhagavato Apatihata Jnana. So, yeah, if we say the same things, nothing can obstruct the Buddha's knowledge about present. That means present life. With the Buddha wish, he could know everything he liked. These are the first three. After that, we have the next groove. Sabbam Kaya Kamam Jnana Bopen Kamam Jnana Nupariwati. So every body actions is preceded by knowledge, which means it associates with knowledge and clear comprehension. So the Buddha, whatever the Buddha do bodily is knowledge associated. Without knowledge, without wisdom, he will not do anything. Then five. Sabbam Vaji Kama, Jnana Bopen Kama, Jnana Nupariwati. Every bhava actions is preceded by knowledge. This is also to say, it will associate with clear comprehension or the wisdom. Then we have to know these two different things, kaya, body actions, and bhava actions. We also have bodily intimations and bhava intimation. For example, like when we move, at that time when elements predominant, mind brochu materialities, brains or other rupas to move, all the mentalities and mentality will arise in the different places. This is called movement, body actions. Similarly, when we are going to speak something, we have vocal cords, right? They are earth elements predominant, mind brochu materialities, and earth elements predominant, kama brochu materiality will strike each other, it will brochu the sound. It's called bhava actions. This is called clear comprehension. Buddha can know everything in detail. So, 6. Sabbam Manokama Jnana Bopen Kama Jnana Nupariwati. Every mental actions is preceded by knowledge. Also to say, is also associated with clear comprehension. So these six are very simple. Now we have to proceed. 7. Nati Chandasa Hani. Not having the decline or an honest desire So, whenever the Buddha is going to teach Dhamma, for example, he has very strong desire. Not only that, when he was going to learn something, also as Bodhisattva, for example, Bodhisattva, when he was going to learn something, also very strong chanda, very strong desire, ardent desire. So when we wish to attain something also, he tried very hard, very strong desire to attain something. So this is one thing, one of the quality. Then again, Nati Dhamma Desanaya Hani. Not having the decline in teaching. So which means when the Buddha is going to deliver a discourse, he tells you all his power to deliver. This is also called Dhamma Desanaya. Especially when he knows somebody can attain Nibbana, he will use all his power to deliver discourse. Then again, Nati Viryasa Hani, not having decline in efforts. So, actually he has very strong efforts because also he is very diligent. As you have already known, when he was practicing 6 years in Uruvela, although he could eat he just eats very little amount of bean soup, but he could practice whole day. You can imagine how strong his desire or how strong his efforts. He's really very diligent. Not only that, every day he delivers discourses to the Dhamma listeners. He has very, very little resting time. Most of the time, he was given Dhamma talk. That's why Buddha has very strong efforts, or Buddha was diligent. 10. Nati Samadhisa Hani, not having decline in concentration. So here, when we talk about concentrations, so that means his concentration cannot be retreat. He just retreats. That means he could attain all types of concentrations. As you have known, he has already attained all types of psychic power. So it's unshakable. Nobody can just disturb him. Nobody can disturb his concentration, different from ordinary people. Then next one is Nati Panyaya Hani, not having decline in wisdom. This is 11, right? So we also have wisdom. The word wisdom is wiser, also wider. Actually, when the Buddha practiced insight knowledge, we call Mahavajita Vipassana. It's a really, really very strong insight knowledge. He could know many millions of universe. Or he could know mentalities and materialities of living beings in the hundred or many thousands of universe. This is his practice. So this is called wisdom. Nati Panyaya Hani. Then Nati Vimodiya Hani, not having decline in liberation. Sometimes we also say emancipation or liberations of freedom. So one more thing about liberations here. That means actually most of the time the Buddha will enter into full sublime abiding. Even, when he was given Dhamma talk, there's a short break, right? Now, for example, when I get Dhamma talk, I have to break some short time, right? A few seconds. Even a few seconds he can enter into four sublime abiding. That kind of mind. So, okay, in brief, we can understand that his mind is free from many different things, many liberations. For example, if we have metta, no dosa, free from dosa. If we have karuna, right? That means we're not bully or we're not torture any living beings. We have kindness. If we have mudita, so we don't have a jealousy. If we have ubeka, sure, then we can balance our minds. We will not hate anybody. We will not love anybody. There's also freedom. Not only that, he is also free from all types of defilements. This is also called liberation. So he has many different types of attainments. He can enter. Even he was given Dhamma talk. In his Dhamma talk, although he has very short break, he can enter into many different types of attainments. This is also called vimutti. Then we have another types. Nati dawa. Never indulge in light-hearted deeds, speech, or thoughts. This is also one of the quality. So here, sometimes, for example, we may make jokes, for example, right? The one will never make jokes, bodily or verbally. Even mentally, he will not have any funny thoughts, you know? Sometimes we may recall many funny things with a smile, right? When the Buddha smiles, he may have sense of urgency of somebody or something. Then the Buddha smiles. Not laughing, not making a jokes. No, he does not have funny thinking, funny thoughts. This is called dawa, nati dawa. So nati dawa, never indulge in hasty action. So sometimes without any thinking, without any considerations, then we may speak something, we may do something. But for about the Buddha, he may not have this kind of things. This is called rawa, right? So sometimes because of like a slip, sometimes we want to say something, but we just speak out something we don't intend to. That kind of thing can happen in ordinary people. But the Buddha may not have this kind of things. When the Buddha say, no slip, no any mistakes, right? This is a difference. Then, nati aputa. Never commit any incomprehensive action. So, actually, sometimes we are not that much knowledgeable. There is some weakness in our talk. But at the time when the Buddha talks, he can, without any weakness, he can give many different things to the listeners, according to listeners' desire. Even a wise person, when the Buddha talks to a wise person, they cannot complain Buddha's teaching because the Buddha can say complete things on the spot. Then again, nati vekayitata. So never impetuous. So, okay, here in this case, sometimes because of fear, sometimes because of anger, or sometimes we are doing something in a hurry, you know, impetuous. So that we may make some mistakes. The Buddha will never do this kind of things. The Buddha will never speak that kind of things. This is called nati vekayitata. Especially if something is blamable or something is complained by the Buddha, the wise man, the Buddha will never do this kind of things. Habitually, the Buddha will never do this kind of things. Then 17. Nati abhya vata mano. So the one is never indulge in remiss concerning with the benefits of himself and all living beings. So here actually we can also say another things about his mind. His mind always inclined to welfare of living beings, welfare of himself. We can also say like that. So now 18. Let's go. In the 18, there mentions Nati Apati Sankhanu Beko. Never let the sense objects pass without being mindful. So, in our daily life, sometimes we cannot be mindful. There are many subjects, many objects come to our sense doors that we cannot recognize everything. But for the Buddha, he will be mindful in every single object that come to his sense doors. That's also Buddha's quality, altogether 18. These are called special quality of the Buddha. So when we are going to recollect Buddha's quality, then we can also use many, many other qualities. But mostly we just use 9 qualities as recollection of Buddhas. These 9 also cover all the things. That is why we just do 9. Okay, today I will stop here. May you all be able to practice the Buddha's teaching, and may you all be able to realize the final cessation and no suffering, Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay.
When you.
Wanami Sayadaw, may we start the question and answer for today?
Yes, we can do.
Thank you, Sayadaw. Hi, everybody. If you have any question, please send to our chat box. Option to everybody. Thank you. Question number 1. Dear Sayadaw, the definition for Buddha and Samma Sambuddho seems...
Actually, they are different. Samma Sambuddho is actually, we have some special definitions, for example.
Also contain the word Buddha already. Is there any reason to separate into 2 qualities? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay, in the sense of Samma Sambuddho, there are some special qualities. For example, Agara, we have already say different behavior or different manner, right? Vikara, intimations. Then Nibbana, Panyati. Nibbana is, already, Panyati means concept. So when the Buddha know Akara, Vikara, Nibbana, Panyati, by himself, this is called Samma Sambuddho. What about Buddha? It's only knowing full knowledge truths. This is called Buddha. 2 different definitions, okay? Actually, when I talk about Samma Sambuddho, I missed this part, I think. That's why people misunderstand. Okay? Next one.
Next slide.
Question number 2. Dear Sayadaw, could Sayadaw explain how did our Bodhisattva accumulate the perfection in order to have a great compassion?
Actually, in this case, you have some misunderstanding about compactions and parami. Actually, great compaction is the causes of parami. Be careful with that one, right? So there are 2 causes of parami. The first one is great compactions. This is one of the cause of perfections. Another one is upaya kosana, skill in fulfillment. So when Bodhisattva was a fulfilling parami, he is very skillful in fulfillment. That's why he can fulfill parami very well. So karuna is only the cause of parami. Okay, it doesn't mean perfections cause karuna. Be careful. Okay. Next one. The next slides.
Question number 3. Dear Sayadaw, the Buddha defilement together with the past habits. What is the good practice that allow him to eradicate that is found in Arahants? Have Pachika Buddhas also eradicated past sadhu?
Okay. Actually, only the Buddha can eradicate his past habits because he has very strong perfection, very strong parami, But for Pachika Buddha or normal arhats, they cannot eradicate their past habits. Actually, sometimes we got long time habits in the samsara, right? For example, if we are born in a very high class, we will be very proud of ourselves, too much arrogance. We cannot give up this kind of nature, right? In many, many lives. So for about the Buddha, because of his paramis, every life, he is very humble. That's why he can eradicate all types of defilements, including the habits or tendency. Okay, next one.
Question number 4. Dear Sayadaw, could Sayadaw please explain what is the meaning of he has gratitude by taking the meditation object? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay. So, when we talk about the one, then we can also say, gratitude means like like he is meant flexible, right? Flexible by taking meditation subjects. Very easy to take meditation subjects. We can understand like that. Okay? Next one.
Question number 5. This is
This question may not be related to tonight's talk. He says after listening to a few Abhidhamma talk, he has not quite understand about this Viti Chitta, from where this Viti Chitta arises. For example, for Chakutora Viti, in each moment there is a Viti Chitta, for example, Atita Bhavanga, Atita Chalana, Abhavanga Chalana, and also Sandirana, Ottapana, and 7 Javana. All these mind moments, how does it be observed? Is it through jhana to observe, or through this anumana, or anyone fix these rules for this Vita Chitta to arise?
Actually,
to arise.
Okay. Actually, later when we talk about mental process, we have to also explain the one, Chitta Niyama, the natural law of consciousness, the natural law of mind. In this case, nobody can do anything. It arises naturally. Right? For example, why is it rain? We have many, many reasons of raining. We can find the cause. This is a concept. For example, like a sunflower faces the sun. Why? This is the nature of the seeds. Whatever sunflower bloom, it will face to the sun. It's normal. This is also called Bija Niyama. So the natural law of seeds. So now in the case of the mental process, we can also say who make or what make. It's a natural law of consciousness. Okay? Next one.
Question number 6. Dear Sayadaw, we have 3 parts in the question here. Part number 1, can we say that we are emulating Buddha quality when we practice Buddhanussati? Part number 2.
Actually, okay.
Okay, can you go ahead and
continue? Yes. Okay, so
number
the first
2,
part, right?
Yes, the first part. Thank you.
Okay, so that means, actually, we can also say we are emulating the Buddha's quality, right? That means we must understand the Buddha's quality. Emulating is something like a copying, right? But not like this. We must try to understand deeply. This is the first thing. Okay, now next one.
Part number 2.
Part 2.
Can meditator attain fruition by practicing Buddhanussati? Is there any example during the Buddha time?
Okay, so in this case, I don't remember Buddha's quality. Okay, anyway, so by practicing Buddhanussati, we can attain only asset concentrations. Based on that, we can practice Vipassana. After that, we can also attain arhatship. It's possible. But I don't remember the examples of somebody, right? Anyway, it's possible to attain, okay? But not purely Buddhanussati. Based on Buddhanussati, we must continue practicing Vipassana. Okay, next one, part 3.
The number 3, also the last one. Some meditators, when they practice Buddhanussati, they may cry a lot. Could this be due to their blind faith, or are they practicing in the wrong manner? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Actually, in this case, sure, because of maybe their blind faith or something like that, we can understand like that. Sometimes because of they may feel sorrow, right? But seeing Buddha's statues or like a recollecting Buddha's quality, we don't have any sorrowful things in our minds. Just for happiness, rejoice. That's why that kind of thing is something strange. Maybe because of their habits, they may cry, maybe. Okay, next one.
Question number 7.
Okay, next one.
Dear Sayadaw, Sayadaw explained one of the benefits of recollection of Buddha is he can endure bodily pain. Number 1, if a question is near death and in pain due to his sickness, is it helpful that he practiced recollection of Buddha at that time?
Okay. Sure, it will be helpful because when you can feel joy, rapture, and tranquility, you can overcome pain. Sure. Okay. 2. Next one.
Next one, if he too painful at that time, by just looking at the Buddha picture, is it also helpful for him?
Actually, in this case, as long as you can feel happy and you can feel joy or rapture or bliss or tranquility, you can also see Buddha's picture because you can also recall it Bhagawa, among the Buddha's quality, one of the Bhagawa is called Siddhi, in Pali Siddhi. This is called Buddha's appearance, body marks or limbs. So if you can see Buddha's pictures or Buddha's statues or Buddha's image, then whatever thing you see, if you can feel happiness, tranquility, or joy, it's okay. It will be helpful for you. Next one.
Question number 8. Wonder me, Sayadaw, if the monk still put the Sangati double rope in his room in the first floor and he goes to the ground floor to take drinking water in the midnight, does he commit offense? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
It is okay. No breaking rules. No offense. Only in the wrong times you must be with ropes. It's okay. Okay, next one.
Question number 9. This is a Chinese question.
If an arahant who is blind and accidentally he stepped on the insects and died, so would there be any result from these actions? And these actions of the arahant, the vipaka, would it 产生的果报是单纯只反归给 so this so-called sankhara, the actions from the sankhara, does that only means to reflect onto the person who did the karma? So for example, a person who did a karma, who has done a karma, 给对方造成的结果和返回给造业者的果报，用法力分别是哪些字？造业者给对方造。So this is the second part of question. So the first part of question, arahant, a blind arahant who stepped on insect, would there be any result from these actions?
Actually, they cannot get any result because they don't have any intention to kill living beings. So, okay, one more thing here we have to know, right? When we are going to talk about killing, there are 5 factors. Okay, we have already explained before. It must be living beings. We also have possessions of living beings, right? After that, we have intention to kill. We make an actions then living being die. When we have completed these 5 factors, this is called killing. In the case of arhats and arhats, they don't have intention to kill. That's why we cannot say any akusala. It cannot be any the result for him. Okay? Second part.
The second part of question. The person who has done the karma and 对方造成 and cause effects to the opposite person. Okay, the person, the karma doer, then the effect happens on the receiver. So what is the term in this? What is the Pali term for this condition? And also, after the karma doer have done the karma, so he received the effect. So what is the Pali term for this second condition?
Not quite clear, right?
Means
the first one, karma doer.
The actions of karma doer is received by the receiver.
Okay.
So this result means this result is experienced by the receiver who received actions from the karma doer. So what is the Pali term for this? And also the second is 返回给 and the karma doer.
Actually, we can.
The karma doer after he has done some actions, he received the effect. So what is the term for that? I think the second one is vipaka. Right? I think the second one is vipaka. Sure. The first one,
sure.
If someone kill a being, I think what I understand is someone kill a being, the being die. So the being is the receiver of the karma. So is that
I see
for that? Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay. So that means old karma and new karma, right? So the one who is a kill is because of his past karma, right? Because of past karma, he bad karma in the past year, he was killed. That kind of things, right? Okay, so I don't remember this Pali term about it. Second one is a vipaka shop. It's very clear. Okay, next one.
Next one, question number.
Sorry,
Dear Sayadaw, if the teacher is able to tell her past relationship with men,
please wait, previous slides, okay? Now you have previous questions.
吃饭后觉得饱是吃饭这个身形带来的果报吗? He says that someone after eating, he feel full, the stomach is full. So this fullness of, is it because of the karma vipaka of the past kaya sankhara?
We're going to say
any chetana involved in this karma?
Okay, so we're going to say like that, right? Because, mostly nutriment is not because of past karma, it's a present karma, But one more thing, sometimes you don't have any appetites, although you have very good food, for example. In this case, we can say karma, understand like that. As long as you have appetites, you're going to eat, sure, we're going to say there is a past karma, okay? Next one.
Next one is question number 10. Dear Sayadaw, if a teacher is able to tell her past relationship with many of her students and she tells openly, how can the student verify that the teacher has said? How should the student behave toward his teacher, saying so as to maintain a proper relationship with their teacher and continue to learn Dhamma from her? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Actually, in this kind of case, it's a little bit risky, So actually, there are many people, they will say they have past relationship, right? In the past, for example, like many teachers will say, in the past, you are brother, you are my sister, like this, right? That kind of instructions. In this kind of case, actually, be careful. I should recommend, don't go to that kind of teacher. That's cheating. So we don't need to say this kind of thing also. It's just, maybe for his own benefit, for a closer relationship, he may say or she may say that kind of things. Be careful. I don't recommend to approach that kind of teacher, right? We shouldn't have a good relationship with that kind of teacher. Okay? Next one.
Next one is question number 11. Dear Sayadaw,
Okay.
when we practice Buddhanussati, if we do not feel as if Buddha is in present, does that mean we have not attained such concentration?
Okay, we can also say we are not successful yet. Okay. For about asset concentrations, then there are many other things. For example, you may have very strong, like for example, like you may feel like you are set like a shrine room, for example, right? That kind of things. Right? You may feel like like a moderate dread and moderate fear when you're going to do something. This is also called successful, right? So asset concentration means if you can absorb in the one quality, we can say this asset concentrations. It will lead to different situations. Okay. Next one.
Question number 12. Dear Sayadaw, this is the head two part of the question. Part 1, please give an example of number 15, Nati Abutang.
Nati Afudang. Okay. So Nati Afudang, I should go and check Nati Afudang. Okay. Nati Afudang. In this case, like Afudang is like a touching with his knowledge. We can say like that, right? Sometimes although we think very well, although we speak something after thinking very well, but there are some mistakes, some weakness in our speak or in our actions. For about the Buddha, his concentration also perfect, although no more weakness in his talk or his actions. This is called Apudang, Nati Apudang. Okay? Then again, 2.
Question number 13. Question number 12 still, Joe. Can you put it?
Yeah.
Number 2. Can talking off a habit that cannot disappear with enlightenment? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay.
Sure. That means if we have a long time habit in the samsara, it's not easy to disappear after enlightenment for ordinary arhats. What about Buddha exceptions? Okay. Then this one.
Next one, question number 13.
Okay, 13.
Dear Sayadaw, when we practice Buddhanussati, if we do not feel as if Buddha is in the present, does that mean we have not attained access concentration? Sadhu,
I've already answered this question. We have already answered this question. Repeating the same question. Okay.
Dear Sayadaw.
Move to the next one. Okay. 14, sure.
Okay.
14 is okay.
Question number 14. Wandami Bante, I would like to have these 4 questions. Part 1. Could Bante explain a bit more about the time for Asankhayas and 100,000 word cycles? What is the definition of length of each word?
Okay. So actually, it will be very long explanation about life cycle like that. Okay, when we talk about all this kind of practice according to Vidhamma, then actually we also have to know many other things about like a life cycle. Okay, for example, in the work systems, we have many different types of lifespans, right? For example, in this but now practically our lifespans become shorter and shorter, right? We call Ayu Kappa, So I think it will be very long, maybe later in the Dhamma talk we can explain the one, right? It's really very long explanation for it. We have to explain about Ayu Kappa, Andara Kappa, Asankhya Kappa, and something like that. That's one. It will be very long. Okay. So later, actually, in the Dhamma talk, and that kind of thing will include later. Okay. Next one. 2.
Part number 2. Is that mentioned in the Pali text that during the time fulfilling parami, the Bodhisattva eyes donated were more than the star in the sky, and the body were more than his.
Okay. So we can find this one in Tina Langara sub-commentary. Actually, okay, not only that, we can find in many other sources. I remember only one thing from Tina Langara sub-commentary. I also sometimes also chant that Pali, right? Okay. We have some Pali formula for it. Okay, next one. 3.
Part number 3. Also, did he offer wife and children in countless life? Since I only read one story, Prince Vasantara, Sadhu Bante.
Yes, sure. Actually, we have only one thing about the only one's life in Vasantara. Sure, but there are many other lives. It doesn't mention in the Jataka story, right? So all the Jataka stories are given to his disciples when something happened in the community. But if nothing happened, he will not explain many things. So there are many other lives. It doesn't mention in the Jataka story, okay? It can be many other lives. Okay, next one.
Part number 4.
4.
I don't have the habit of chanting Buddha or the other 8 qualities, Arahants, etc. I used to thinking Namo Tassa, and this will help my mind calm. When I have nightmare, I automatically thought Namo Tassa, blah blah, and I have overcome that nightmare. Should I change to the 9 quality way? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay. So I have to explain something about Namo Tassa, right? Actually, in Namo Tassa, there are 3 qualities. Bhagavato equal to Bhagava. Arahato equal to Arahant. Sammasambuddhassa equal to Sammasambuddha. 3 qualities. Okay? So Namo Tassa cover 3 qualities. It's also okay. You can keep doing the same, no problem. Okay, next question.
Next question is question number 15. This is
if I practice metta towards myself and my own image will appear in front of me, is this practice correct?
Okay, it's okay. It's correct. Okay. Next one.
Next one, question number 16. Dear Sayadaw, is it correct practice to practice visual? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
To practice visual means to visualize something? Actually, okay. So actually, we have already talked about 3 types of meditation subjects. You know, for example, like seeing. We can say like for about kasina, we have to visualize. But for about anapanasati, through touching, sensations, we can also know anapanasati. So that is why we cannot say only visualize. Okay, we have to know many other things. Okay, 2. Okay, what? 2.
Number 2, is it correct practice to imagine Buddha picture in mind or should concentration on quality only?
Okay, so we can do 2 different things at the same time. For example, you can also visualize Buddha's image or Buddha's statues as you like. Then you can also keep reflecting or recollecting Buddha's quality. So if you don't have Buddha's statue or Buddha image, it's possible to just recollect Buddha's quality. It's also possible. Okay. Next one.
Next one. Question number 17. Wanami Bante, what is the meaning of born with 2 roots?
Okay. Actually, this one is also come from DHAMMA. For example, we have 3 roots: alobha, adosa, amoha. That means known greed, known hatred, and known delusions. This is called 3 roots. But sometimes in somebody, when they have accumulated some wholesome deeds, they don't have wisdom faculties. They have alobha, they have adosa. When that karma produces next life, then he will be reborn as 2 roots. Alobha and adosa, no more amoha, no more wisdom. This is called 2 root persons. Okay? Next one.
Question number 18. Dear Sayadaw, I have 2 questions. If a Naga take 3 refuges, can he be a superior receiving to a human who is this sila and misjaditi?
Okay. Of course, he has a stronger kusala, right? Also, we can say as a superior receiver. Okay, one more thing about it. The receiver means like a superior receiver means like when they are going to, when they can observe, for example, about 5 precepts, for example, right? They can be moral persons. That's why it can be a little bit better. Okay, next one. 2.
Part number 2.
Part 2.
Is it possible for someone with the right mindset to make more merit offering to an animal than someone offering to an arahat? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay, so in this case, according to our skill, okay, so for example, when Bodhisattva fulfilled the parami, he didn't choose the receiver. But when Buddha delivered discourse to his disciple, you know, most of the people are not very wise. That's why the Buddha say, choose the receiver. So in this case, as you feel happy, you can choose the receiver. Of course, when you can offer to arahat, it's better, sure. Okay, it can be more merit. Next one.
Question number 19. Dear Sayadaw, please explain the 8 liberation vimokkha briefly.
Okay, vimokkha again, right? Come, this one come again. Okay. Briefly, this one also very difficult to say briefly because this is about kasina and many other, sorry, vimokkha. Okay. Vimokkha. I have to check vimokkha again. In the case of vimokkha, I have to check. Okay, please wait. Okay, maybe I should find here in Tipitaka in my hands. Okay, vimokkha 8. Okay, so okay, briefly, right? So the first one, internal kasina, also external kasina. So that means, that one would be a little bit difficult to explain. Maybe, actually later we have to talk about vimokkha also, because I don't remember in which part do we have this vimokkha. Okay, maybe okay, just skip this question. Later I will continue, okay? Okay.
Question number 20. Dear Sayadaw, is it better to wish, particularly like by sweeping this monastery of dust, may I be clean of the defilement, or to simply wish for the goal? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay, if you wish to become like to clean your defilement, this is also okay. You can make this kind of wish. It's okay, right? If you say, okay, may I be reborn in the may I attain nibbana? Okay, this is also okay. It doesn't matter. This is also okay, right? Okay, now I will continue about vimokkha. Okay, vimokkha. So I will have to explain a little bit briefly, right? So that means the first one. Hello? Is it okay? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So the first vimokkha. So it can be internal kasina and external kasina, both, right? So actually just taking kasina materialities and also practice as a vipassana, right? This is the one thing. Then 2 is only external kasina, right? So that means only external kasina materialities. Then that one is very pure Kala Kasinas. As we have mentioned, Super Vimokkha, right? We have mentioned the one, number 3, in our previous Dhamma talk. So that means very clean and very pure or very bright Kala Kasina. So that means we can enter into material jhana based on Kala Kasinas, very bright or pure Kala Kasinas. This is called 3, because Super Vimokkha. Then after that, 4 is entering into boundless space jhana. 5 is entering into boundless space or boundless consciousness jhana. Then 6 is entering into nothingness jhana. Then 7 is entering into neither perception, no non-perception jhana. 8 is Nirodha Samapatti. These are called 8 Vimokkha. Okay? Then next one.
Next one. Question. I don't think any
no more
question. Yes, Sayadaw.
No more question. Okay. Okay. Now one question come out. One question from chat box.
I think we don't have any more questions, Sayadaw.
In the checks, in the message box.
No question.
Oh, I have one. Dear Sayadaw, Venerable Sayadaw, should we be wishing for our goal or making similar wishes at the end of every meditation session? Is it like when we do dana and don't make a specific wish, it is generally considered not as productive? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the same wish or different wish, it depends on situations. For example, like when you see somebody, they have very calm mind, for example, you can make, may I be able to calm like him, for example, right? And be able to have calmness of the mind like him. So it depends on the situation. You may have different minds, different wish, it doesn't matter. So the main thing is if you have wish, go wish, for example, like to attain Nibbana, it will be the best. Okay? Anything similar to Nibbana, you can make wish, it's okay. Next one? No more? No more.
No more questions.
Okay, so okay, so no, we can make another session.
Yes.
I think
No more.
we have no more questions.
Okay. And then one more from the message box.
Question number 22. Dear Sayadaw, do we just say, may I attain Nibbana? Works more important? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay. So something similar to Nibbana, we can also say like for the may this merit be for the supporting cause of body jnana, right? Asakya jnana, like that. This is also okay. Similar to Nibbana, we have many other usage, right? It's also important. Okay. Then no more.
No more. We have no more questions.
Okay. Then what will be?
Vimata stop sharing.
Okay.
Vietnamese said, "Mấy said, research for the sharing and Mary said,
Okay, so no, we may share merit, right? Etta vada ja amehi sambadam bunya sambadam sabbe deva numodandu sabbe buddha numodandu Sabbe satta numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya idam me nyatinam hotu sukhita hontu nyatayo idam me nyatinam hotu sukhita hontu nyatayo idam me nyatinam hotu sukhita hontu nyatayo idam me punyam asawakaya waham hotu idam me punyam nibbanasa paccaya hotu mama punya bhagam sabba sattanam bhajami te sabbe me samam punya bhagam labantu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.